All right, thank you. So today we're going to go over using the SEADS system and ways that you can engage your students. And for anybody who might be new, SEADS is our Student Engagement and Advancement Data System. And it's what our faculty use to notify us about any student who might be struggling a little bit in the course. And so today we'll go over how to use SEADS, but before we get to that, we just wanted to start with a few faculty expectations about outreach and student engagement. And we've got three things here. The first of them is to just be present in your course. And this one is really important because it's very easy for an online student to feel alone in an online course. You know, because you're not seeing anybody face to face. So it's very easy to feel like they're the only one in that class. So we just ask that our professors maintain a presence in the course. And that's some really easy things to do. You always be quick on answering your emails. Use the announcement board on the course homepage and provide updates for your students. And on those assignments and discussion posts, make sure that you're giving some personalized feedback. And when you're watching the discussion boards, maybe just step in every once in a while and give some comments, just to make sure that the students know that you're there and you're watching the course. And then we always ask that you be encouraging for the students. That's reaching out to those who might be having some issues, of course, and just letting them know that you're there to provide assistance and encouragement throughout the semester. And the last thing we ask is that you be flexible with the students. And really this is just understanding that students aren't just students anymore. They're not just waking up and going to class and that's it. We've got a lot of students out there who also have full-time jobs that they're working on. They have families and other commitments that are competing with this course. So that's always a good thing to just kind of keep in mind. And so we ask that you give them opportunities for success and also opportunities for redemption. Because sometimes things happen, and so that might mean maybe you have your course set up to where you could drop the lowest quiz grade. Or maybe you occasionally allow makeup on a missed assignment for full or partial credit. And so just give them some opportunities there and just understand that sometimes other things do get in the way with our students. And some ways to identify students who might be at risk in the course. Of course, if they aren't logging in, they aren't completing their assignments. So they're in trouble there. And one of the easiest ways to identify that is to just go and look at your class list. And you can sort that by the last access date so you can see the students who haven't logged in a while. For example, we've got one up there who hasn't logged in since January 10th. Well, I know they're missing assignments. So that's a good student to reach out to and kind of see what's going on. And you can also pay attention to your grade books. Of course, if they're missing assignments, they're at risk there. But maybe the assignments they're turning in need a little bit of help. So maybe they need some writing help or tutoring, or maybe they're just not fully engaged in the course. So these are some good things to use to identify a student who is at risk. And you know, we always ask that if you do see someone who's at risk, just reach out to them. And some ways that you can reach out to the students, you can always use email. So if you've got a student who is logging in but maybe missing some assignments or not doing so well on them, you can email them inside of GoView. But if you've got a student who's not been logging in, you can always use that external campus email address to reach out to them. Because of course, if they're not logging in, they're not reading your GoView emails. And the easiest ways to find their campus email address is to look in the Ingress Faculty Console. You can find it in there, or you can also log into SEADS and look at your class roster in there, and the student's campus email address is listed there. And for some students, maybe you've emailed them a few times and that's just not working. And that's a good time to just kind of pick up the phone and give them a call and just kind of see what's going on. And a lot of students really like that because most people have never had a professor actually call them on the phone before. So a lot of students really enjoy having that. And you can find their phone numbers in the mandatory attendance quiz. So it's one of the reasons that's so important that they take that, because that's how we also get phone numbers as well. And to get to that mandatory attendance quiz, you can go to your quizzes under the Assessments tab on the navigation bar, find your mandatory attendance quiz in that list, and then just click the drop-down arrow there and go in like you're going to grade it. And from there, you can either download all of the answers to the quiz. If you need to look up multiple students, you can download it to an Excel file. Or if you're just looking for one student, you can search out the student's name under the attempts there and just go view their individual attempt. And the phone numbers are typically the 4th question and the 6th question there. And then we also kind of wanted to let you know about some resources that you can always point your students to. Each student has access to Smart Thinking, which is free online tutoring. There's a link on the navigation bar in every course. Our non-STEM students also have access to our Embedded Librarian course, and there's a link to that on their course homepage. And we have librarians in there who can help them with research questions, how to cite sources, and just anything like that. And for students in our STEM classes, they have access to an embedded tutor on the discussion board. And for that one, our tutor typically responds within 24 to 48 hours once they ask a question on the discussion board. So those are all some resources that you can point your students to if they need a little bit of help. And then if you're trying to reach out to the student and it's just not happening, they're not answering your emails, they're not answering your phone calls, that's where our Student Success Team and SEADS comes in. That's where we can help you reach a student. So you can always submit an at-risk entry in SEADS and just let us know, hey, I need some help reaching out to this student. And then SEADS is also there if you have contacted the student, but maybe you just want to let us know what's going on. So that FYI, no action required option is in there as well if you just want to make a record of reaching out to a student. But if you have a student that you need the Student Success Team to reach out to, submit that at-risk entry and we will reach out to that student within 3 business days. And some things that we're talking to them about is we're always trying to get to re-engage in your course, to get them back into GoView and back inside the class. We're going to give them your message from the SEADS notes. That's why those instructor notes are so important, because what you tell us on there is what we're going to tell the students. So if you need them to reach back out to you for some more information, that's what we're going to tell them. And then we will always remind them of some resources there that they have. And then so that brings us to SEADS, which is what you'll use to actually submit those at-risk entries. And SEADS originally just started out as just an at-risk tool, and it's kind of evolved into so much more, and there are so many different users that use SEADS now. Our faculty, of course, use it for your at-risk entries and to submit academic forms. Our Student Success Team uses it. That's where we can see your at-risk entries, and also where we can see and respond to any withdrawal requests. The students have a login to SEADS, and that's where they will go in to actually submit a withdrawal request or a student academic form. And the last group that has access to SEADS is actually the home institution. So they will have a login to actually go in and process any withdrawal requests, and they also get to see a milestone report, which just kind of gives them a general overview of what's going on with their students. We'll give them a list of any of their students who have been reported as at-risk or who have submitted a withdrawal request, as well as just the primary reason for that. And so when it's time for you to use SEADS, what you'll do is to access it, you can go inside of your course. If you look in the content, there's the Faculty Forms and Resources folder, typically the last one in that content area, and there's a link to SEADS in there. That will take you to the login page. You can bookmark that login page, or you can just type in the URL. And something that's really important that we have to remind our faculty every year is that your SEADS username is not your GoView username. It's going to be a different one. And if you're not sure about that, you can always hit that Forgot Username link on the bottom. If you know your username but you don't know your password, we have a Forgot Password link down there as well. But if either of those don't work, or if you're just not sure about it, you can always email us and just let us know, and we will help you get logged in. Okay, and so now I'm going to, once you actually, skipping through a few slides here, once you actually get into SEADS, one thing you may need to access support is the faculty forums. Once you log in on the top navigation bar, there will be the faculty forums, and you have academic honesty form, the change request, grade change, incomplete, and student reinstatement form. And so those are some of the forms that you can complete in SEADS. And once you click on the form, it's pretty self-explanatory on what you need to complete. And then once you submit it, it will be sent to the appropriate person within eCampus for further action. Okay, and so as Katie talked about before, the at-risk entries, that may be a reason to get into SEADS, is to submit those tickets. And when you get into SEADS, you'll go to the top navigation bar and click on your My Courses. And then your courses will come up on the left. And you will click on your course so that your students will be, your class roster will pull up. And you can, if you just need to submit one ticket, you will click on the notepad and pen there on the left of the student's name. And if you wanted to complete multiple entries, maybe you have 5 students that didn't complete one quiz, you would do the multiple entries button there. And on the next slide here, we'll show you the difference between the two. So on the left-hand side, that's what it looks like when you click on just a single entry, the notepad. That's what the form will look like. And on the right-hand side, it looks the same, except you have the list of students there on the right, and you can check off the students that you want to complete. Yes, right here. And so, like I said, you'll fill out the form and then put the comments. And the comments is a very important section for us, for the student success team. It can tell us exactly what you want us to communicate to the student. If you want us to, tell them that they can make up the quiz, or just reach out to the professor, or maybe you want us to reach out to them to communicate the different resources that they have available. Maybe you just think they need a little bit of extra help. So that can be, put in the comment section. Okay, so now a few things we want to just make note of for the at-risk entries. So we've got duplicate tickets there. So if you, we reach out to the students when during proctored exams. If they are missing an appointment or they've actually missed the exam, we are reaching out to the students. So you do not have to enter an at-risk ticket for that, because we are actually reaching out to them. And then over-reporting. If you put in for the same student multiple times in the week, sometimes we don't have anything new to say to the student. So that may not be the best option there, is to over-report the student. And then if you see that you've got half of your class missing an assignment, that may be a time where you need to look at the assignment and see what's going on, why half the class has missed that assignment. And then about the comments in the notes, I'm not sure if you can read this note here, but it says that you had called some of the selected students and you reached some, but you didn't reach the others. Well, if you can just give us some notes about who you actually reached,
and then who you left voicemails for, just not giving some more specific information. That would help us when we reach out and call the students, because we can mention that to the student that, hey, you may have already talked to your professor, but we just want to make sure you didn't have any further questions. So that can help us when you're detailed in your notes. And then also with this time-sensitive information, so if you have a quiz that's due 11 o'clock that night and you're putting in an at-risk ticket at 5 o'clock that afternoon, chances are we're not going to see the ticket and reach out to the student by the time the quiz is due. So we would, that's something to keep in mind when you're putting in an at-risk ticket, is to wait just to make sure that there's enough time for us to actually reach out to the student. Okay, and then for the withdrawals, when a student submits a withdrawal, the faculty and the student success team will receive an external email notifying us of the withdrawal, and the student success team will then reach out to the student just to talk to them about the withdrawal, make sure that they're just to find out what's going on in the course and why they may be withdrawing. And we encourage the faculty to reach out to the student as well, especially the engaged students. A lot of times, student may not have a single at-risk ticket, and they'll be withdrawing from the class. And so we just want to reach out to the students to find out what's going on, because they can cancel that withdrawal request. They can, once we speak to them, they may decide they want to stay in the class. And so they can go back into SEADS and cancel that withdrawal.